Hello, third graders. Today we're going to start a new lesson, and this is on the human form. You are going to need some aluminum foil. If you don't have that in your kitchen, no big deal. You can use a sheet of notebook paper. It's not going to work exactly the same, but it'll work close. So if you do have the aluminum foil, you're going to pull out about the same size as a piece of paper. And if it's torn on one side or something, that's okay. No worries. So here's my piece. And just so you can see what it looks like with paper, I'm going to do it that way too. So you can see that my aluminum foil is a little bit bigger than my paper, but it's not too bad. So we're going to be making 3 cuts on this, and I'm going to use the paper to draw and show you where the cuts are going to be. So if you think about this part in the middle of the paper being kind of your body, you are going to be making 2 cuts at the top, and one is going to turn into your head, one is going to turn into your right arm, and one will be your left arm. And then at the bottom, you're going to make 1 cut, which will turn into your 2 legs. All right, so next you are going to take your scissors and you're going to make these 3 cuts. So first I'm going to cut my paper, and then I'm going to cut the aluminum foil. So 1, 2, 3, okay. And on the foil, I'm going to go ahead and do my 1 cut down here at the bottom. So I'm cutting up, stop. I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to do the 2 cuts up here. 1 and 2. I chose to do the 2 cuts at the top because I actually had a little bit more foil. Okay, so next is the part where you kind of have to have gentle scrunching hands. Because we're going to create a sculpture, you need to be somewhat gentle. So I'm going to first start by bringing my hands together, okay, and I'm going to now hold this with one hand. Already, if you have a really good imagination, you can see head, arm, arm, leg, leg, okay? So from here, I'm going to kind of crunch the head down so it turns kind of into a little ball, okay? And I'm going to kind of gently crunch the arms, gently, and gently crunch the legs, okay? So now that I have this kind of a shape, I'm going to move back and I'm going to do this to the piece of paper. So same thing, same concept. I'm going to kind of bring it in, and then I'm going to form a leg, and a leg, and an arm, and a head, and an arm, okay? So right now, the foil and the paper are kind of taking on a human form, okay? So from here, you are going to decide what your form is going to be doing, okay? So if your form is playing basketball, they might be shooting a shot, okay? So if you have a little person and they are playing basketball and they go up for a shot, usually one leg lifts up because you've just pushed off from that leg, okay? And you've got hands on the ball coming towards the goal. So right now I have my hands kind of together. I've got my one leg forward. The other leg is actually going backward because it's pushing off also. Your momentum is pushing you, forward into the air. And so with this person now, once you have your person where you think they look pretty good, you're going to try to put them onto a piece of paper, okay? So you're going to need a piece of paper, you're going to need some tape, and go get those two things if you have them and come back to me. Welcome back. So, if you are working with paper, one of the things that tape can do is it will actually help build that shape, because paper is a bit trickier to work with than the aluminum foil. All I'm going to do is tear off some pieces, and I'm going to use these to wrap around my paper and to hold it in place a little better, because it sometimes doesn't want to stay, whereas the aluminum foil, once we smush it, it stays very well. So I've got my little legs wrapped. As you can see, they already look so much better than they did. I'm going to take a little bit up here, and I'm going to wrap around this arm. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So now that you have your person created, we're going to work on getting them onto your piece that you're going to stand them on, and then we're going to be looking at some shadows. Shadows can create art. Did you know that? They're very interesting and sometimes very unique. One of my favorite shadows is the shadows that trees make when sunlight goes through their branches. So now I'm going to take my tape, and over here back to my little guy, I'm going to create just a little piece right here where I folded it a little bit backwards, and I'm going to put that piece onto this piece of paper. Now I went ahead and got a piece of red so that you could see it really well. And already, I don't know if you can see the shadow. I can absolutely see it. It's not being picked up very well on my camera, but the shadow is already there. Okay? So once you have your person standing up, your job is to trace their shadow onto the piece of paper. So right now, I'm going to move him around. This one's pretty cool. I like this shadow right here. And I'm going to get my marker ready. And what you can't see is this shape right here on this piece of paper. Okay, so right now I have traced his shadow right onto the paper. So hopefully you enjoyed this lesson. If you have the paper version, you're going to do the same kind of thing. And if you want the paper version to, keep its hands together or something like that, just use some tape and make that work out for you. And this one also can be attached to a piece of paper just like the foil, and it's in the same way. You just create a little piece at the bottom. Maybe you have to use both feet, and that will then stand up there just like the foil one. So hopefully you enjoyed making a three-dimensional model today, sculpture with shadow. Bye guys.